Hi ho everybody, and welcome to the Kingdom Compass podcast, where we point you to the goods and bads of all things Disney. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Denell, Griffin D-Pad, and with me as always is the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. How are you doing tonight?
A question for you, Griffin.
Yes.
If you have one bucket that contains 2 gallons, and you have another bucket that contains 7 gallons, how many buckets do you have?
I'll have you know that when they were asking that question in the movie, I genuinely was like mentally doing the math. I'm like, okay, so how many gallons? 2 buckets. 2 buckets.
2 buckets is the answer. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, folks, today we have our topic of the show being Idiocracy. This is going to be a very interesting topic of the show going back to
Should it have been Predator Badlands? Probably. Did I go to the movies this weekend? Absolutely not.
Did I? No fucking way.
Maybe I'll go out
I
this
was
week.
fully intending, I was fully intending on going Saturday. Genuinely.
I still have not watched Prey. I want to watch that first.
Gotta watch Prey. Badlands will be next episode, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're not promising anything, folks. Movies are expensive.
The next episode might be Zootopia 2.
Oh, God, that's right.
That's in like 2 weeks.
Okay, there will be a Badlands episode. There will be a Zootopia 2 episode at some point. How you doing?
It's been a week.
It has been.
I'm good. How you been?
It has been. It's been a little bit. Getting these, obviously, this is always a highlight. Mitch, some crazy stuff has happened since we last recorded the podcast. Both in terms of just the world in general, which I'm sure we're going to get into today, talking about Idiocracy, but also in terms of Disney and the things that we love. A trailer dropped this week, Mitch.
I still haven't watched it.
You should watch it. We're not going to do a reacts to it, but I'll tell you
what.
We
should really get back to doing those. Those are always fun.
You find the time for us to do it because we can barely find the time to do this show.
And you've already watched the trailer, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Percy Jackson.
The next one will probably be Avengers, to be honest.
I'm trying to think if there's any other movies, but no. Maybe Spider-Man?
No, we'll get the rumor is Avengers trailer with Avatar, so Avatar, I think that'll be the next one.
But yeah, Percy Jackson season 2 looks fucking dope. We will be talking about that.
We need to get through Win or Lose before we talk about that, which might mean just binge the rest of them and do one episode on the rest of the show, which I'm fine with.
And there's also a couple other shows coming out soon that I will want to talk about, which is going to lead me into our subject for the top of this. Of course, what else have we been watching or listening, playing to, etc.? What other media have we been consuming? Of course, folks, I will come up with a better name for it at some point. But in general, it's a chance for us to talk about the other things we've been listening, watching, and I want to start this week because I got 2 things for you, Mitch. First off is a little video game called Dispatch.
Oh, okay. I want to hear about this because this is one I'm very interested in once it finishes its weekly.
Dispatch is one of my favorite games of the year.
Good.
It's just an animated series, folks. It's just an animated series where you make choices. And
it also feels very much like our vibe.
Very much so. It is a fantastic character-driven story. Basically, the whole idea of it is you are playing as Robert, who is a superhero. Imagine like Iron Man without the money. And you get in this crazy accident, and you have to switch gears to becoming a dispatcher. So you're essentially a 911 dispatcher, but for superheroes. And the story of it genuinely is just amazing. They've been doing this episodic release format where every week they drop 2 episodes, similar to how you do an animated series. And there's genuinely a moment in the most recent episode. Finale drops as of when this comes out. It drops this week. As this comes out, I think it's tomorrow. There's a
week of November 10th.
In the penultimate release, there was a moment that genuinely had me scream no at the TV.
See, and that's why I want to wait for the whole thing to be out, because this feels like something I will sit down and just spend an afternoon playing the whole thing.
I am so happy I did week to week for this, because I am genuinely like Wednesday night. That is my night to come home after work, make dinner, and play Dispatch. Like genuinely, I am so into it in such a feverish way I haven't felt in so long. That I am so in love with it. And I think that's a hit for me with animated series, because the other thing I wanted to mention that I've been watching is kind of hitting me in the same way, and that is Has Been Hotel Season 2.
I saw that was dropping. I was on Prime today, and we'll talk about that in a little bit of what I was watching. But that was one of those things where I wanted to get into that, and I watched a couple of episodes and enjoyed it, but it just kind of fell through the cracks. So I'm curious to hear what about season two dropping should bring me back into it.
I don't think you'll like season two unless you like season one.
Well, I think I need to give season one a little more time, just like the other thing I'm going to talk about in a few minutes.
Hazbin Hotel is a theater kid's wet dream. Um,
Which
Genuinely.
should line up for me. Like I'm a Broadway fanatic, right? Like so it should be right up my alley.
Some of the music in the last couple episodes has been some of the best of the show. Period. We had a rock opera ballad. We had an anime theme song. The music is so varied throughout this show. And the story they're setting up is very interesting. I don't think season two has hit nearly as hard as season one did yet, but we're like 4 episodes in, so a
Yeah.
lot can happen in these next 4. But yeah, that's what I've been watching slash playing. Mitch, how about you?
So this week has been insane. So my wife graciously gave me today. So we're recording this Sunday evening, just for context. Just I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna visit with family. I'm gonna take the baby. Just you have a day. So it's been lovely, largely because it's November 9th and we woke up to 10 centimeters of snow on the ground in Toronto.
Hey, I'm so jealous.
You're not, because that is not something to be dealing with the second week of November. That is something to be dealing with the second week of January. We were not ready for this. But yeah, it was a very pretty day. Baby got to play with the snow a little bit. Carmen was generous enough to do the shoveling. So for me, it was put my butt on the couch, boot up a bunch of video games. I flipped through my Switch too and booted up like 6 or 7 different things. Nothing was really scratching that itch. There was Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Three Houses. I booted up
Dang, going back to Three Houses.
Mega Man: The Wily Wars on the Sega Genesis. I dabbled in Mario Paint there for a second because it has Switch 2 mouse controls for some stupid reason, because it's the only way to play that game. And ended up settling on, like I mentioned earlier, I opened up Prime Video, and I finished season 1 of The Legend of Vox Machina.
Hell yes, just in time.
What a show. Oh my
Do you
God.
now understand why I've been yelling at you to watch this show for so long?
Yes. Now, my question for you is how much of that was in the critical. So, for those who don't know, Vox Machina is the animated series that loosely, I think, follows the Critical Role D&D game. I don't know how closely it is, which is what I was going to ask. Is like, how
Vox
close
Machina
is that?
season 1 in particular is incredibly close.
So it's basically just the first campaign that they ran, or like the
So
first
it's
few.
it's like it's not even the first. It's like the third story arc
Okay.
that they streamed. Or
So they basically just like pulled one of the main stories out of that full campaign and turned it into an animated series.
yeah, so basically the way that Vox Machina series works, because for reference with Critical Role, there's the Legend of Vox Machina, and pretty soon there will be the Mighty Nine. The Legend of Vox Machina follows their first initial campaign, and that campaign is kind of broken up into different arcs. Season 1's the Briarwood arc. It is the darkest one. Actually, it's not even the darkest arc. It's one of the darkest.
It's pretty
arcs.
dark. It's pretty intense. I was surprised, or I wasn't surprised where they took it, but by the end of it, you really do feel for these characters in a way I wasn't expecting.
There's
to.
a moment in that
so when things
show
when
that,
things
like,
are happening, I'm just like, oh my! Like in that, I think it's in the last episode, or maybe the penultimate episode when the thing happens with Keeley. I'm just like, no, you don't get to do this. No,
Kiki, yeah, I
what are
love
you doing?
Keeley. So yeah, I'm going to spoil one thing in season 1 for folks because I genuinely want to know what your reaction was to it. And
Okay.
it's one of the darker moments in it. What was your reaction to seeing the Sun Tree for the first time?
That was so I don't know if like it wasn't a thing of like I'm like, okay, it's tree. Like it didn't resonate with me in any significant way just because there wasn't any affinity to it. By the end of the episode or by
It's
the end of
more
the
of
season.
seeing the bodies hanging from the Sun Tree.
Oh yeah, that was that was unsettling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a mic drop horror moment that Critical Role is
And it's like
weirdly good
it's
at.
the first scene of like the 5th or 6th episode or no, later than that, like 8th or 9th episode. But it very much felt to me like as off as it was when we talked a few months ago about Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, that also
Yeah.
opens in a similar fashion with a hanging. I'm just like, oh, okay. And I've come to expect it with Prime. Like Amazon tends to skew a little more adult, at least for the things that I enjoy watching there with The Boys and Gen V and Invincible and such. So I wasn't surprised by that aspect of it, but I was, I'm like, oh, okay, this is where we're at.
But yeah, so the show itself follows very closely to the original game with some key differences. Pike is not nearly around as much in the original
Oh,
campaign.
oh, okay, more of like a guest character,
Well,
not
so
really. Or
during campaign 1 and campaign 2, Pike is played by Ashley Johnson.
yeah.
She was on a TV show as they were playing on that,
Oh,
so
okay.
she was constantly in and out, and she's constantly in and out of was in and out of campaign 2 as well. So the Mighty Nine that we'll be getting. So they changed that and changed a lot of their stories, and then a lot of stories got changed because of that.
I see. Okay.
But that's more season 2, season 3 stuff. If you do keep watching, I would highly recommend it. The rest,
I let it auto play into the first episode of season 2. This is something that I'm now like this is now that there's no baseball to watch, which we're not going to talk about. Very much have a bit more time back. So like I'm continuing with this. Our go to bed together show has been Nobody Wants This. I
such a
don't know
good
if you
show.
watched that at
Such a
all.
good show.
It's so good. So we've been going through season 2 of that, and that's been really good. But it's
So
nice
yeah,
to have a little more of that time back.
the rest of Vox Machina that is out right now is a single arc over 2 seasons,
Okay.
and then we're
The
getting
the colorful
yeah,
cadence or
the
whatever the hell
Chroma
they call
Conclave.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, the Chroma Conclave is that, and then the final arc it will be the next 2 seasons. Season 4 comes out next year, and then season 5 will come out at some point after that.
And then Mighty Nine is the second campaign that they ran as Critical Role, and that's going to be
Mighty Nine in
starting
2
up
weeks.
this year or next, or like that starts of next year, right?
Mighty Nine starts in a week.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Well, okay. So then my question becomes for you before we
You do
pivot
not have to watch
Idiocracy.
one before watching the other.
Do I finish the one and then go into the other, or do I bounce between both?
I think you're fine bouncing.
Okay. But I'm wondering, like, if I'm this early into season 2, should I just stop and enjoy Mighty Nine with you weekly? Or should I just
I
try
mean,
to,
I would say
know,
just chill and let's watch Mighty Nine and hang out. Mighty
I'm
Nine
down for that.
chronologically takes place well after Vox Machina. Same world, different continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, would highly recommend it. All right, we've talked about a lot of other things. Let's get into today's topic. It's another review. We are talking today about the 2006. I don't even know what really to call this movie. We're talking about
Mike
Idiocracy.
Judge is a prophet.
Yeah. It's wild, by the way, that we are talking about this movie before we talk about Office Space.
I gave you the choice. You chose this over Office Space. We're going to do Office
yeah.
Space when we got some downtime this winter. But this is where we went.
It's more of just this movie only exists because of how good Office Space was.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of it. Yeah, he is a prophet. Directed by Mike Judge, screenplay by Ethan Cohen, and Mike Judge. Mike Judge, we already mentioned Office Space, but Ethan Cohen, I want to give him his props as well because he's written a lot of amazing stuff. This being the first thing he wrote, the most recent thing he wrote being The Bad Guys 2. He was also a writer on The Bad Guys 1, partial writer as well on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Men in Black 3, Get Hard. This dude pumped shit out.
He's a worker.
As far as television goes, to bring it back to Disney, he also worked on Timon and Pumbaa as well as Recess. Dude's been around for a bit.
And then pivot back to Judge. You should know him from being the co-creator of Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, like mentioned, Office Space,
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, another one, yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. Dude's done a lot of shit. Where I first actually ever learned about this guy is that he was in Spy Kids.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the dude is mega talented. bringing it back though, the reason that we talk about this on the show is that this was a 20th Century Fox movie. When I went
Hulu is on Disney Plus in Canada, which means everything 20th century is kind of fair game at this point.
Interestingly enough, when I went to find this on Disney Plus today, it was not there.
Huh.
I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if the search is off or something. Also,
Well, where were you? Well, the thing is, not everything 20th Century Fox is going to be on Disney Plus, and not everything that's on Disney Plus is necessarily going to be a Disney property. For example, recently, at least in Canada, they added a bunch of things from Universal. So, like the Mummy series is there, which shout out Brendan Fraser, Rachel
Coming
Weisz,
back.
getting a new The Mummy.
Woo!
Oh my God, I cannot wait
What
for
they
that.
should
We're
have
going to
done
talk
to
about that on
begin
the show.
with.
I do not care. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey version. A new season of Star Wars Visions, which I need to continue.
Yeah, I never watched season 2.
I binged season 2 knowing season 3 was coming. But that's the whole thing with these streaming services is it's not that like I know Universal has their own streaming platform with Peacock or Paramount Plus or whatever, but it does for them benefit having this product anywhere because then when that goes away and they only have it on their service, then people will go there. But then also, I forgot about The Mummy 2 of the Dragon Emperor. That was definitely a movie.
Oh, I love that movie, mostly because.
But at the end of the day, these companies are just trying to make money off each other. So it's not necessarily that everything that is Disney owned will show up exclusively on Disney Plus. And the same can be said about the 2 or 3 other film studios that exist with the conglomeration of American mass-produced media.
I mean, we're seeing that right now with the whole Disney YouTube TV thing.
Also with who is HP Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount potentially discussing a acquisition.
Yeah, actually, I was just on a podcast for a little bit yesterday talking about Peacemaker, but one of the things we talked about was like, what's the future of DC for that? Interesting.
If Saudi Arabia buys WB Discovery.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, this movie for U.S. viewers, you can find it on Netflix. That's what I ended up doing. Okay. And yeah, it's very interesting. Released September 1st, 2006, runtime of 84 minutes and a budget of $2.4 million. A box office of $495,303. But it is a cult classic. This movie has become very much a cult following because of just how correct it is, which is horrifying for a satire to be correct.
It is, but I also just DM'd you something on Discord that is just something that feels like it was ripped right out of this film, as well as the fact that I spend a large portion of my downtime today because I didn't have much to do, scrolling Instagram and sending you a ton of reels, because that is something that people do now because that is how we mass consume the internet. And this film just,
by the way,
was
I was out checking out a vintage Disney store today. Video.
Of course you were.
And I pulled in. I was looking at my phone. I'm like, what is Mitch doing today? Because I had like 4 reels.
I was doing nothing. Most of those memes were about not wanting to go to work tomorrow.
And fair. All of them were very, very reasonable. But yeah,
especially the ones with Kermit the Frog.
This movie is fantastic. Obviously, we're going to be full spoilers for this movie coming out from 2006. A lot of this has been very accurate, and some bits of this have not aged very well at all. Man, it hits you right in the face.
I do have one bone to pick. I have one bone to pick with Mr. Judge, and that is the amalgamation of everybody wearing Crocs in this film as futuristic-looking shoes that are also incredibly dumb-looking. You're wrong. They're so comfy, and I'm very glad that I have Crocs in my life.
You are incorrect, and he is correct.
No, I refuse to admit that.
Crocs exist because people don't want to tie shoes.
Crocs exist because they're comfy. And it makes going to Disney easier because the water has extra holes to go out of when you get hit by a hurricane.
I will say that is partially why I hate Crocs, is because of how many of them I see at Disney now.
The thing is, it's not an all-day shoe. It is something that can go into your park bag and you change into when the weather turns.
See, I'm just like, I just accept the rain. You're
Well, you
gonna get
have to.
wet.
You live in Florida. Rain is part of your existence now.
Yeah, it rained a shit ton today. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I want to throw it out there right off the bat. If you have never seen this movie before and might be going into it now, this movie was very much. You could tell that this movie was made in 2006.
There are some jokes that do not pass the gut check.
And there's a lot of homophobic and transphobic jokes in this. It's really casual about it.
Well, and also just the mental health and you know mental disability. There's a lot of that too.
Yeah,
Not
it
a huge
is.
fan of.
It's one of the things where it's like going back and watching some of your favorite movies from when you were a kid is always dangerous because you might not
You're
have hit
telling me
that stuff.
Dumbo was racist?
Horribly so. Don't get me started on Peter Pan. There's any movie I think honestly from like early 2000s and like from the 90s, you always have that little bit of danger in there of right, this was a joke that everybody made at that time. I'm very grateful we've mostly moved past that. A little concerned that we're currently backsliding into it again, but
Which is kind of what we're talking about today with the thing that I sent Griffin being the president of the United States, being in the Fox broadcast booth at Sunday Night Football when the government is currently shut down.
good news though, those were the loudest boos we've heard from him yet. For him yet.
But there were no boos. Everything was perfect. I was on Fox, and Fox loves me. And the Washington football team that should not be named the Commanders is going to name their stadium after me, and everything is great. And my toilet's made of solid gold, and I piss unicorns.
To talk football real quickly, dude. What were the Bills doing today?
What happened to Buffalo? Oh my god!
Like, what were they doing today? I need them to do well. I got their defense in fantasy football. What the
Buffalo
hell?
coming off a win against Kansas City. The Dolphins losing in dramatic fashion, or like very, very solidly to my Baltimore Ravens. And they come in today and it just flipped the script. All right, we're throwing everything out the window. All right, cool.
Look, I wasn't going to win fantasy football this week. Jalen Waddle put up 17 points for my team.
That was
today.
a ridiculous game from him.
No, okay, seriously aside though. Yeah, a lot of this is crazy correct. Like, and there's a reason this movie did as poorly as it did, especially with like how much they just straight up call out corporations. It's crazy what corporations they decide to call out. It's real fucking weird in those choices. Why we're going after Costco and Carl's Jr.
I mean, given the fact that I was in Costco yesterday buying 10 pounds of ground beef in a tube so I could split it and freeze it because it's cheaper than buying individual pounds of ground beef, while also spending time in the bathroom sending you a bunch of useless memes, kind of speaks to the world that we live in and how really scarily accurate this film has become.
Oh, incredibly so. That's just not necessarily the companies I would have chosen. But you know what? I appreciate the comedy of this regardless. A lot of the comedy in this movie is very lowbrow humor, which just kind of leads to the kind of the entire vibe of this movie. But yeah, I think this was my first time actually like fully watching this movie.
I love this movie. I mean, granted, you can take out of context the jokes that don't hit in 2025 because the movie came out almost 20 years ago now, which also makes me feel incredibly old. It is one of those ones that I will just go back to because it's so ironically correct, and it's almost like reassuring in some ways that there were people that saw the world going the way it did. Which is also why I like going back to one of my favorite films of all time, Office Space, which we'll talk about in a bit as well. It's got some of the best tongue-in-cheek humor when it comes to some of these things, like the dude being sponsored by Carl's Jr., so every time he says it, they pay him. Or the fact that they got so dumb and so bought out by a corporation that they decided that water wasn't something they needed, and they were reinforced by propagandic media that water is just something that should be in the toilet, which feels really scarily accurate when you look at what Nestle and other large bottling companies are doing to our natural resources today. It's just like, man, it's so good in the worst way possible.
Of like, man, crazy how accurate they got this was the mom trying to buy food for her kids at Carl's Jr. Especially right now, of like the Carl's Jr. saying, no, you don't have the money, we're not going to give you the food. Also, you're a negligent mother for this, so we're going to take your children. And the cops show up. Like, especially right now when families can't eat because SNAP benefits are paused because our government is suing for it not to go out. Like, it's crazy
Just
how
release
on
the
the
Epstein
nose.
files already. For fuck's sake, let's just move on. Let's just move on.
I mean, to do that,
I know it won't happen.
Republicans would have to open the government.
Well, and that's why it's never going to happen.
Although we'll see the Senate Dems caved tonight. So
It's a step in the right direction, but it never should have gotten to
it is
this
not a good step.
position in
It
the
is not
first
a good
place.
step at all. I don't like the step. This step scares me. They're willing to cave on the Affordable Care Act. That's not a good thing. Not to say that we haven't had highs lately. Folks, I think this is going to be an episode where we very much are just kind of going to end up talking about the world as it is. So I want to warn y'all ahead of time that this may not be the most cheerful episode to be listening to.
We'll make do with what we can.
Let's talk about the bits and pieces of this. I haven't even mentioned the fact of the starring cast of this movie, which
We
is
got distracted real
fucking
early.
insane. It is Luke Wilson, Maya Rudolph, Dax Shepard, and Terry Crews. What?
Terry Crews with the role of a lifetime as, and I need to get the full name accurately here. I had it and I lost it because I moved away because I didn't know we were going to go right to the cast.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I've
here
got it.
somewhere. God damn it. There we
Dwayne-
go.
yeah, it's-
Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho, the former pro wrestler / porn star actor who was president of the United States in the year 3005.
Honestly, watching a lot of this movie made me realize, I'm like, man, should have paid more attention when they made us read Brave New World in high school.
Yeah, or 1984.
Oh, I paid a lot of attention for 1984. 1984 is a fantastic book.
Animal Farm.
The thing for
Anything Orwellian, honestly, was really, really. A lot of that I didn't read until I was an adult. Like, I went to Catholic school, so a lot of it was, Shakespeare and not this. And,
The reason, honestly,
I'm
so
really glad that
the reason I never really paid attention to Brave New World in high school is because it was a summer reading book, and nothing
see, we
sucks
didn't
in
have
high
that.
school more than a summer reading. Because I had to be in honors English. I had to be smart.
I didn't do honors English because I speak English well enough as it is. I didn't need that to get into engineering, so I didn't take it.
Yeah,
Also, I don't think my school offered it. Or maybe they did. I did all the math and science stuff.
Anyways, this movie was really interesting watching it for the first time in 2025.
I can only imagine, yeah, because I think I watched this for the first time probably 10 years ago, maybe a little longer.
Because I think watching this back then, you can see it's like, oh, haha, that's kind of amusing.
We were getting to that point. Like, once social media became a thing, like when you've got your Instagrams, your Twitters, your TikToks, and all that, it starts to feel like, oh, we are, going down this rabbit hole. Even with the sensationalization of cable news, broadcast news, the news in general, whether it be digital or via traditional media, you can see some of these machinations starting to turn. We are full on in this near 2025.
That was the thing watching this where it's like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. The a fucking course that it got out of me when the Fox News logo pops up. I'm like, yep, okay. Well,
The only thing that's going to survive for the next 1,000 years will be Fox News. I don't think the broadcasters will be shirtless because, I do think people are going to go more towards the Wally route of just being overweight and sluggish as opposed to, fit. But we'll see.
I think we either go that or the what's the Amazon show that I'm thinking of?
100?
No, let me look up.
The Expanse?
No.
I do want to watch The Expanse. I've heard really good things. For All Mankind, I've heard really good things about as well on Apple TV Plus. I should watch that.
It'll come back to me later.
Oh, Man in High Castle.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it very much reminds me of that. I think we're going that route.
We're most of the way there. I'm sorry to tell you.
I mean more in terms of purity culture bullshit. We're already there with a lot of the other shit. Yeah, I think a lot of it's like a sports drink company buying the FDA, the Department of Health, and the FCC. I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, that tracks. The whole fucking stadium, all of that shit. I'm like, yeah, okay. It is weird how much power WWE has had over the U.S. government.
TKO in general, not just WWE. I feel like ever since that mega corporation was formed between the UFC and WWE, it just feels like they're everywhere between Dana White, Paul Levesque, the McMahons, Linda McMahon still being the Secretary of Education, I think. Or was that the first time? She's something different this time?
No, I think she's still. I think she's that again. I'll be honest. Linda
Yeah, she is
McMahon is
still
not someone
Secretary
I
of
think about.
Education, which, yeah.
I think a lot of this movie is incredibly clever. I think the whole idea of yeah, most of these issues just come from overpopulation and stupefaction, essentially.
Well,
Anti-institutional.
the irony of the garbage avalanche that triggers the pods opening up at the beginning of the movie, which maybe we'll get to the plot eventually. I don't know. The fact that an aluminum can, which would be recyclable, is what triggers a garbage avalanche to kick off all of these events is just again, irony on top of irony.
And then yeah, like the bucket question, like you mentioned, is so
A one question quiz deems that he is the smartest person in the world.
it's so dumb.
Like take everything else out of context. If you woke up tomorrow and you were the smartest person in the world, I'd probably not want to be alive in that world. Where if I was the last smart person alive.
Now the way I'd be like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Exactly. I would just nope right out of that entire situation.
The thing that got me though, one of those things of like, this is hilariously accurate the most, was it's like right after the garbage avalanche, but like Dak Shepard watching TV
Yeah.
and like seeing all of the ads pop up. It was
Yeah.
like
Which
genuinely was a moment of it's like, seriously? Because then I paused the movie on Netflix and what did I see but giant ad on my TV.
Yep. Or I mean, all of these services we've gotten to a point where streaming is just cable. Because I feel like and I have to figure this. I have to figure out by the end of the week if this is going to track or not. The only service I pay for that's ad free is Disney Plus. Which, with how much that's gone up in the last year, I don't know if I can let that renew again. And the service launched November 19th of 2019.
Originally
Or
launching
2018.
completely without ads. We should
No, I know, but now I'm to the point where it's going to renew this week. And do I leave it at the free or the premium tier, or do I bump it down to the ad enabled tier? Because I'm ad enabled for everything else: Netflix, YouTube, Prime. That's really it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, everything I have has ads. I will say this movie does weirdly well with it. It's like it's almost designed for it. This movie very much like in terms of how it's paced and how it's set, how it's chopped up. It was ready for TV. This was so made for TV. I think they knew that was where their audience was going to be for a lot of this. I got to imagine that when they were creating this, like there had to have been hesitation from 20th Century Fox on this movie, right? Like there just had to have been with the amount of companies that they were going to piss off with this movie. And like you look at it and there's obviously speculation about it. There's no like definitive yes or no on it. But they let this movie die because of that. And it's so interesting to see that and now see where 20th Century Fox is now, where it's, yeah, you've been purchased by Disney. Your Spotlight Pictures now, and it's an entirely different corporation underneath that. And
Yeah.
for better and worse. It's so interesting how much this got correct. That is so crazy to me of like, what if we just made everything be the stupidest possible thing? And now look where we are today and like everything is just the stupidest possible thing. Humans, we fucked up a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is one of those things of it's a very good psychoanalysis of the human condition. Just the way that it opens as well on comparing these two couples and their family tree of like the one couple being like, "Oh, I don't know if it's the right time," and you think about the financial implications and the education and all these things. These are all conversations that most, or at least that I had with my wife before we had our son, and that I feel like most reasonable people will. And on the other side of the fence, you have or no, the Cleavon family tree, was it? Jim Bob and all that, where it's just like, oh yeah, we're having another one with three neighbors, and just the idiots will inherit the earth essentially.
And the dude just won't stop cheating on his family.
Got to stop sticking it in things there where it can get to sticking, because I think at one point in that family tree, there's a dog and a chimpanzee as well as
That
Hank
shit, yeah,
Hill.
that family tree is crazy. If you just pause for a
George
second,
W. Bush was in there at one point, I think.
although it was one of my favorite jokes in the movie of this dude tried to jump his jet ski into a pool and died.
Yeah.
Some of the humor in this movie genuinely, like, once you get past some of the horror, the more older this should never have existed to begin with jokes. Some of the jokes in this movie are real fucking funny.
Well, even just the decline of Fuddruckers into what,
Into
butt fuckers?
yeah.
Did it end up in? Yeah. Apparently, early drafts of the script actually had it being like the MLB or baseball, going from being baseball to extreme baseball with like flamethrowers and shit, and then it ends up just being fire in
Fire.
or in 3005, just
I
fire.
love that.
Which we get elements of that, I think, in
Yeah, we got the demolition derby for
the demolition derby, yeah, which I forget what they called. It was like rehabilitation or something
Yeah,
along those lines.
rehabilitation.
Like, oh, it doesn't sound too bad, and then, oh yeah, no, it actually is a monster truck rally where you're going to die.
I want to say though, like, as far as the humor goes, one of my favorite jokes in this entire movie is the payoff for the time machine. Of totally just accepted that, yeah, a time machine probably exists because this is just the kind of movie where that might happen. Only for it to be
And it did.
a fucking amusement park ride.
And I love that it's I need to know his character's name. Dak Shepard's character, but his name is
Frito Pendejo.
Pendejo. Yeah, he's a, well, you thought there was an actual time machine. I thought you were smart. Like, yeah. Yeah, we're
Frito
pretty dumb for
Pendejo,
believing
played
that.
by one of the whitest people alive.
But I mean, it just goes to show that, again, like some of these things, like Beef Supreme being the chief rehabilitation officer, played by Luke Wilson's older brother. And again, back to Terry Crews in what I think is the best role that Terry Crews has ever played. And I will fight people on that. Of Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Camacho.
See, the only one that I would argue otherwise for that is just
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yeah. He's so good in that, man.
He is, but there's something about this movie.
Also, everybody hates Chris.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Yeah, there's so much here in this movie. Yeah, the time machine's hilarious to me. The realization of literally just use water is this grand reveal to them is hilarious. The whole, I think what gets across so well though is just the frustration of this.
But it has electrolytes. Electrolytes make plants do good.
That's what people crave.
It's what plants crave. Mm-hmm. Electrolytes. What's an electrolyte? It's what people crave.
Yeah, like it's like so blatantly obvious too. Like it's just not even like radioactive green. It is just dark green sludge.
Well, it doesn't even like just the concept. Electrolytes are salt. Salt plus earth equals no grow. Like it's not rocket science. It's basic botany.
But they have this great bit in with it too, where it's like, it's what plants crave. It's what cows crave. It's what people crave. Like they hit it for everything.
It is the marketing. It is the magic of the mass marketing machine, which I think this is why seeing Costco here as being this epicenter of everything is really interesting, because like that is the perception of Costco today. And if you take that perception of Costco has everything and extrapolate it over hundreds of years of Idiocracy, you end up with Costco University and Costco having its own public transit system and Costco having police officers that'll arrest you for being a dick.
I was planning to go into the plot about this movie, but I'm just going to completely throw that out the window at this point. I think the funny thing
We pretty much covered the main beats,
Yeah.
Smart dude or average dude gets pushed forward in time through, a military experiment, ends up in a world where everyone's stupid and stupid things happen, and then he fixes the whole world and he becomes president. And then Frito Pandejo becomes vice president and he marries a whore.
Yeah. I think the craziest thing to me about this movie is the one thing that they couldn't predict, which was somehow the president of the United States still cares about the United States.
That, which has not been true for the last few administrations, I would argue.
Oh yeah, like President Camacho is a weirdly good president.
Yeah, he cares about his constituents. He's just too stupid to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing that hurts so much in the reality of the world we're in right now, where it's
they're oblivious to what they're doing, whereas now, like, the current administration is not oblivious to the pain and suffering that they're causing. They just choose to ignore it to get on stage and dance like an idiot, whereas President Camacho gets on stage, dances on the idiot because they're going to save the economy because they have the smartest person in the world.
Yeah, I think especially just where we're at right now, like with this whole government shutdown, honestly, just everything from Trump presidency too. It is a time where it's like, yeah, it does feel like there's no hope. This movie feels weirdly hopeful. And I think that is a testament to how we felt about the world back then. The thing about satire is it's pointing out a change that needs to happen. And pointing it out in the hopes that we can actually change.
Doesn't feel I think like it's also really interesting. I want to talk about the release of this film for a little bit.
Yeah,
because this is a movie that was basically put on indefinite hold for over a year because of how poorly it tested. So it's in its screen tests, there was a lot of people that came out of those feeling like they were being targeted and spoken down to about the risks of overpopulation through, lack of contraception and things of that nature. Where it only opened in 7 cities when it was scheduled for release over a year after the movie was done. And only went as wide as 600, it only expanded up to 130 theaters across North America.
Again,
because those 7 cities it opened in were LA, Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, and Austin.
Total box
didn't even
office
open in New York City
of $495,000, $495,000
on a budget of $2.5 million.
Yeah, like you can tell, like 20th Century Fox was not comfortable with this film because they were the ones it was calling out.
Well, exactly, and I don't think any large corporations really would have wanted to encourage this. And I'm honestly surprised this hasn't just gotten buried in the Disney vault somewhere, because the film speaks volumes today. But like you said, on home media, it's earned as of, I think, where's the stat coming from?
I'm also curious now. I'm just going to look for it on proper Disney Plus right now to see if it's there.
So as of 2007, so a year after its home video release, when they stopped tracking it, it had grossed over $9 million in rental, box sales, etc. on home video. It was a very successful home video release. To the point that, like you mentioned earlier, it has become sort of a cult classic in that it does a lot of things to make people look, it's a very self-reflective film, because even myself, I said, like, this weekend was a trip to Costco and sending Griffin a bunch of stupid memes. And this movie is one big meme and has a large set piece that is a giant Costco. That it contains the university that Frito Pandejo attended to become a lawyer.
Again,
he's a lawyer.
Frito Pandejo, the whitest man alive. Like, genuinely,
yes.
I need to keep sure that we know that point with Dak Shepard, because it's so batshit to me.
The president of the United States has Mountain Dew in his name, and a member of his cabinet ends every sentence with "brought to you by Carl's Jr." because they pay him. I don't think calling Dak Shepard Frito Pandejo is the worst thing about this movie.
It's not, but it's the first thing you're hit with. Look,
No, the first thing you're hit with is the fact that he stands up off of his chair and it's a toilet.
I missed that.
You what? It's a toilet.
Which I think you gotta understand. First off, I was very much watching this movie while playing Pokemon.
Okay,
and
sure.
second off, there comes a point in this movie where everything is batshit crazy, so nothing
That's
is
very
crazy.
true.
And like that is the hard part of getting to these movies with satire, right? It's like you gotta flirt the line. As far as satire goes, again, this gets a lot right. I think it goes a little too heavy into some of it just because of. I think some of it gets lost in it, and I can definitely see people being confused about this. But I think ultimately it gets its job done. It's fucking impressive.
It's just crazy too, like with both Cohen and Judge speaking during the 2016 election saying we didn't want to be right and we expected to be right in 1,000 years. We were just off by about half a century. Which speaks volumes to the fact that, you know, in their film, you have a former pro wrestler / porn star as the president. And in real life in 2016, and then again in 2025, the United States of America elected WWE Hall of Famer and man accused of infidelity with a porn star, Donald J. Trump. Like that actually happened. We're not living in a fever dream.
The comparisons have been there for a while. This is not a new idea of how much Trump reflects this movie. It is actually, it is past the concern point. It's at a point of impressive just how much he has copied this movie. And there are memes and comparisons are back and whatnot. I feel like this has been such a downer of just where we're at. I want to shout out some positives with the world right now with this.
I want to shout out some positives to the movie too. I do think that Maya Rudolph's character does a lot to be redeemed through this process and goes from being, an unfortunate, byproduct of the time that she was living in and having to live as a prostitute to then, being a catalyst to saving the world. And then also becoming the first lady of the United States I think they just call it America at that point. There's no states. It's just your president of America now.
So it is still the United States. It's the United States of America. UHH.
Right.
Yeah, the acting of this is phenomenal, right? Like everyone in this movie is so good in their roles. There are points where I want to scream at this movie, and that is what the movie is going for. There are points of this movie that are like, oh, that's fun, and that's what that movie is going for. I think it does a really good job of getting the emotions it wants out of you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing for me with this movie. This is definitively a well-done, good production.
I would question that only because I know they did a lot with what they had. The production budget was incredibly limited, and that does show at times in some of the animation, in some of the things that are CG that just don't look very good, even in comparison to the other 2005 films.
I am surprised with how good it looks in 2005, given this budget.
There are aspects of it that do, like the close shots, I think are fine. Any wide shots look not great at all.
I think that initial establishing shot for me of it's just like showing like all the trash in the city within the trash. I think that's really well done. I think
it works fine. I think, yeah.
Sorry, seeing OBS warnings.
Oh no, never a good time.
My encoding is taking a lot right now.
Yeah, I think it does what it can with what it's given, and I do think that this film was kind of set out to die. I would love to see what Judge and Cohen could have done with a real Hollywood budget and with real Hollywood marketing behind it. A film like this made today would probably the film like this today would do incredibly poorly because it's not a sequel or a franchise or based on something. But that just speaks to the dumbing down of the general viewing audience of most feature films.
I don't know, I think the timing of us doing this episode is very interesting for me because I think watching this has been in a time where I have felt more hope for this country than I've felt in a little while.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
This does a lot to beat that into the dirt.
Yeah, I think because especially right now with like Mamdani winning in New York and this massive blue Democratic sweep across 6 or 7 states, but in every single election being going for Democrats, Prop 50 in California, the redistricting passing, like so much of that has been this groundswell movement. And I think I want to shout all that out because I want to remind folks that we don't have to be Idiocracy. We don't have to go into a living nightmare. Like, we can fight that.
Although we should all probably we should all try to rein in our social media use just a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think my social media use at this point is either sending you dumb shit or posting stuff for this.
Yeah, I should probably just stop in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting of like, yeah, we don't have to live in the bad. It does not, things do not have to be bad. Things can be good. We can expect ourselves to have hope. And I know that's a hard statement to say given that everything is happening lately, but hope is so incredibly important and whatnot. And I don't know. I just
hope leads to change.
Lately.
Change leads to progress. Progress leads to a better world for all of us and generations to come.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, Idiocracy. It's a good movie.
It's
a decent. It's not even a good movie.
It's a decent movie. I think it's very tongue in cheek given the times we're living in. Ask me again in 5 or 6 years, and I hope it's not.
I hope this is a movie that we can firmly put in the past.
No, I like going back to it because it's still pretty funny.
Oh yeah,
He's got machine guns on the front of his motorcycle.
Okay, that one was.
And then they have dildos on their monster trucks.
But it's a fun. We can always look back at the past, but I would prefer to keep this in fiction rather than in the real world.
Ideally, yes, I would agree.
All right, folks, that's gonna be it on this one. Watch Idiocracy or don't. I don't even have like a proper recommendation for you on this one.
Go touch grass while we still have it before Brondo becomes the thing plants crave.
Yeah, go touch grass. Go hug your neighbor. Be good to other people.
Maybe don't ask permission first. Ask permission first. Consent is important.
All right, folks. Remember, folks, you can find this show on Tuesdays here on Kingdom Compass. You can find our weekly show on Thursdays when we get around to recording it. And you can find some of our park stuff as well here. Once I actually remember to upload things.
And to go to the parks and keep, teasing me that you're in the parks. But it will happen. I will be there eventually.
I'm going to send you so much.
I don't know if it'll be during this presidency, but it may be. We will see.
All right. We will see y'all next time. But until then, be good to each other and have a magical day.
Mountain Dew's pretty great.
I still hate it.